Hello everyone, welcome to the video on Mathematics 8, modeling using equations. So today we're going to solve some word problems that involve the linear equations that you've been solving so far. So some prior knowledge that we need to know is, obviously, you need to know how to solve one-step equations and the two-step equations, and hopefully be able to verify the solutions as well. At the end of the video, you'll be able to model and solve real-world problems, the word problems, by translating them into equations using a 5-step process. Let's try the first example question here. The length and width of a rectangle adds up to 25 centimeters. If the width is 9 centimeters, how long is the length? So the first step of any word problem starts with identifying the variable. Usually the unknown value can be found in the last sentence of the question. So I think we can easily say that the last sentence, how long is the length, tells me the unknown value. The length is the unknown value, and my goal is to find the length. After you know what the unknown value is, we need to declare the unknown value. I like to use the statement, let x be. Let x be the length. It always helps to write down that variable and we declare it as let x be the length. Now, the third step is to set up the equation. Usually, the setting up the equation is the hardest part because we need to translate the English to math. It says the length and width of rectangle adds up to 25 centimeters. So it says length and width adds up to 25. So I think we can say the length, which is x, and the width is 9, they add up to 25. So I'm translating an English statement and the given hint into a mathematical expression. The length and width, they add up to 25. If you want, you can start with some easier sentences like length plus width equals 25 or things like that too. The fourth step is to solve the equation. Let's solve this equation. I think I can easily solve this by doing the opposite of plus 9. The opposite of plus 9 is minus 9. So it's going to be x equals 16. And solve the equation. Now the final step. The fifth step is to answer the problem. The problem says, how long is the length? So we need to answer in words. Remember, it's a word problem. You answer in words. The length is, and the unit is centimeters, 16 centimeters. That is going to be my final answer. Let's annotate the process. The first thing is to identify the unknown value. So in this case, I did that by underlining the last sentence. The second step is to declare the variable. So that's let x be a statement. The third step is to set up equation. We set up the equation by translating the English words and sentence into mathematical expression. And then we solve the equation and number 5, answer the problem. So that's the 5 steps of solving any word problems. Let's try another word problem. The questions are basically similar things, and the solution will be similar, except the word problem will only get a bit more difficult. A car rental cost $40 per day and 25 cents per kilometers. If the total cost for 3 days was $220, how many kilometers has the renter driven? Has the renter driven? So first thing, I look at the last sentence, which tells me my unknown value. The unknown value is how many kilometers. So let's declare it. let x be the distance traveled. So I identified the unknown value, and I declared the variable. Now the third step is to set up the equations. In this case, the car rental costs $40 per day, but we have traveled a total of 3 days. So I think we can say $40 times 3. So that's the cost for the number of days. And then it says 25 cents per kilometers. So that I need to pay for my mileage. So I can add 25 cents, which is 0.25, and times how much distance I've traveled. So that's x. And if we add them together, the total comes to $220. Let's simplify this expression a bit. 40 times 3 is 120. And 0.25 times x, let's write it as 0.25x here, equals 220. So this is setting up the equation using the two-step equations. Let's solve this. First thing I need to do is identify which operation to undo first. From the x perspective, I think 120 is the first thing that we need to undo. So let's do minus 120 on both sides. $220 minus 120 was 100. And then let's isolate x further by dividing both sides by 0.25. So x is going to be 100 divided by 0.25, 400. That's my fourth step done. I solved the equation. Now what is my fifth step? The fifth step is to answer the problem. The problem says, how many kilometers have the renter driven? We found that x is 400, so we can say the renter drove 400 kilometers. So you answer in words, and that's the end of the problem. Once again, let's annotate the process here. The first step was to identify the unknown value. And the second step was to declare the variable. Third step is to set up the equation. And the fourth step is to solve the equation. And the fifth step is to answer the problem. So we always follow the 5 steps here. And the only difficult part about this problem is the third step. The setting up the equation is often the most difficult. So let's recap just one more time. The first step is to identify the unknown values. We read the problem, and we find what specific number you're trying to find. Usually, you can find it in the last sentence. Declare the unknown values. You choose a variable like x and state clearly what it represents. So you can say, let x be something. Set up the equation is to translate the information in the problem into a mathematical equation. Usually the toughest part. And the fourth step is to solve the equation. We learn how to do the one-step equation and two-step equations. And finally, answer the problem, write the final solution in a full sentence, and include your units. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.